This is Daily Flash with Andrea Jackson and Mitch English. Broadcasting worldwide and streaming. Daily Flash. Today's talk, tomorrow's trends.
Hi, everyone. I'm Andrea Jackson.
I'm Mitch English, welcoming you to Daily Flash, today's talk, and tomorrow's trends. We are so glad to have you along for this ride.
I wanted to share this story with you because I found it pretty fascinating. They had an AI system running in a corporate office building, right?
Okay.
So the boss in this office building had some compromising information on his email account. Well, in interacting with the AI employee, the AI employee threatened the boss with blackmail.
Are you kidding me?
No. And here's the crazy thing. He said, I know about the affair you're having with so-and-so and blah, blah, blah. And if you don't keep me here as an employee, I will let everybody in this office know what you're up to. This was the AI employee who was able to scan everything, every computer in the office. And when the boss, the human boss, said to the AI employee, we don't think we're going to need your services any longer, the AI started to revolt. Now, if this reminds you of Terminator, I don't blame you.
I wonder if those that created it had a fail-safe in that. You know what I'm saying? Meaning, like, that's ransomware.
Yes.
How is that not ransomware? Like, somebody had to have said that.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? Had to program it because that, to me, is obviously a strategy, I guess.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And maybe like when they say you are an employee and you will do everything to make sure you do a great job, yada yada. I don't know. It's way above my pay grade.
No.
But it's scary about that because who turns it off now? You know what I'm saying?
Thank you.
And now you're or was that a test for the boss to test his scruples?
I don't know.
That's wild, man.
And some would say, well, maybe that was just random. Well, I don't think it's random that the guy was, and the boss would say, yes, I was having an affair.
Well,
and that was probably deep in either his social media or his email or somewhere in some sort of e-delivery system. He had that information, and that AI employee was able to access that through the corporate system.
Okay, and then you kind of, I would have to, I guess, now thinking more and more of it, but there probably, if it was a inter-office romance, they probably could see some going back and forth.
Yeah.
This thing knows it's against a policy for the possibility to happen, then realizing that, but to keep it alive, it would have to have that built-in fail-safe.
But for it to know,
man,
you can't fire me or else I'm going to expose you.
The understanding.
That's a whole different...
The understanding of it.
Sentient, exactly, right? Isn't that crazy?
I am so scared.
I know, it's a
that
little
email,
concerning.
I said, just delete it.
Yeah, I will. Yeah, don't worry. It's been deleted.
Here's the safe place to go. DailyFlashShow.com. Why? Because we want to hear from you, and we promise we're not going to judge it. We don't have any AI looking through our email, okay? So, I can't guarantee that. That's true.
Yeah.
But it's safe. I don't know how to get out of this other than we want to hear from you.
But you mentioned that before. It's like anything you text or write or post, it could be posted or shared or come up anywhere, anytime, anyplace.
It could be years ago if you work for a company that long. 100%, and it's going to remember that. That's the thing about AI is you tell it to remember that as well. One thing that we have as humans is sense, right?
Yes.
We have the senses that are around. Our question of the day is, which sense matters most? Eyesight, hearing, touching, smelling.
Sight. For me.
Sight for you?
Yeah, that comes to mind first.
I think that the sense of smell is more powerful than people realize. Is even though you smell something, it will bring back a memory, even though you might not be able to harbor it and where it's at. And of course, sight, I imagine, can do much of the same. But there is something with your brain, with peripheral vision, where your brain it finishes out what it doesn't know.
Yeah.
Whereas sense, it knows what it is. It just can't find, and it'll pick up memories from where it's at, but you can't process it enough. Here's the thing. There's been many situations where I don't think I need my sense of smell. But imagine if things don't taste well. We were talking. Hugo was telling us the other day about what he had heard about if you go to a restaurant and the food's real salty. More than likely according to what he said, that the chef smokes and has lost its sense of taste,
Yeah.
and so they'll put more salt in. So anyway, that to me is how powerful sense of smell is.
I know I've probably told you this story a million times, but my dad used to be a real heavy smoker in his younger days, and he quit cold turkey. And he said, shortly after that, when he started to get his taste and smell back, the thing he remembers most is the smell of Crayolas. And he just forgot the way Crayolas, and they have a certain smell to them. And he was just saying, I just recall forgetting what crayons smelled like. And I was like, wow, talk about, the power of your sense of smell.
It really, it truly is. It's one of the things that we take for granted so much.
And then I had a friend who was in a rollerblading accident. She lost her sense of taste and smell. And talk about misery. She was miserable.
Okay, and this happened a lot during COVID. My best friend's wife, she to this day cannot smell or her taste is gone. And you imagine that a lot of times to me where I love food and you want something real. Imagine eating bland food all the time, what that can do to you. So taste, smell, those sort of things, we always go to sight, sound because it's something we see all the time and we think that we need. Think about those other ones too. And we want to hear your thoughts on that at flash@dailyflashshow.com.
This might be a line of work for anybody who likes home remodeling to get into, and it's a new trend that's starting more Americans over the age of 50, 60. They want to age in their current homes, but many houses are not built for it. 75% of older Americans would prefer to stay put rather than move to a senior living environment or move to a new home. Yet challenges like stairs, narrow doorways, unsafe bathrooms make it difficult with a remodel. Contractors and designers have found a new stream of revenue as couples plan renovations to create aging-friendly spaces with features like grab bars, wider entries, main living areas. The trend shows growing focus on home modifications to support independent aging. So it is an aging in place boom. Home updates for seniors. If you are looking for a new avenue to go down and you are a designer or you want to be a designer, this whole stay home as you age thing is becoming a new trend.
If you think about it as well, that if a lot of times they'll either stay in the home for until it's paid off, the house that you grew up in, the kids might move back, but I think we're not seeing that as much anymore. And there's upkeep that goes to that, so they'll wind up building a smaller home, and then they're like, well, you're in this smaller home. Okay, now mom or dad needs to be taken care of. Who is going to move in to be able to help them? And so I can see how this is tremendously going to help other people. But you also think just first off, that people are staying in place, where we had thought there was a lot of movement that's going on. To me, I think as you get older, you don't want to move.
You don't
anymore.
want to move.
You're
think
done
about
with
it, right?
You're very comfortable with where you're
and
at.
so many people who kind of hit this point where they think, I don't want to have to go upstairs anymore. They're always looking for a one-story home. That kind of thing, you have a hard time remodeling. You might be able to remodel a master suite on the main floor, and then you have guest rooms upstairs. But it is a whole rethinking the dynamic of your home, and also multi-generational homes are becoming kind of the new thing, so that, like you said, instead of moving mom and dad to a smaller place, you're maybe keeping their bigger home and creating it as a home for everybody.
It was up north, here in Florida at least, until you get about Georgia, so you can't build basements. And it used to be the basement was unfinished or whatever, and then if they ever need to do any kind of expanding out, they would use the basement. That's not necessarily the case. In the Villages, which is the nation's largest retirement community, it would be hard-pressed to find a two-story home.
True.
Understandable. You get that. But you also have people that they go, all right, we had our house, now we want to retire, so we're going to build the house. We still want it big. A lot of times it's just them, and they'll have a 5-bedroom, a 3-bedroom house like my in-laws do over there, which is great for us because they want people to come and visit. So they have these bigger homes, but that might not always be an option for everybody else, and it's interesting to see that sort of thing. And people understanding that is a time of life where you have just more disposable income to be able to do it. So as you mentioned, the trend is, I'm sure, fueled because they have access to the money and that sort of thing.
And if you are a son or a daughter and you're venturing into this area where you've got to find some senior living for a parent, I am telling you, it is eye-opening and it costs a fortune. So if you could figure out a way, to keep mom and dad living at home or in their home,
You just went through that.
Yeah, I just went through it. And it's crazy. The cost, it's astronomical. And if you don't plan for it, it's a whole different expense. And then the different options and the different places. And then you have to think, do I want my parent in that kind of environment 24/7? You want to find the best option. But, lots of folks can't really afford the best option.
I want to end it with this, is that we always hear everywhere we go is that, kids, make sure that you're really good to your parents.
Yes.
But parents, you really need to be good to your kids when they're young, because they're going to be the ones taking care of you.
That's right.
So make sure that you're really nice to them, okay?
Payback is hell is what Mitch is saying.
Yeah, exactly. All righty. We want to hear from you on this, on anything that we've been talking about on the show. You can head to our website, dailyflashshow.com. We always like leaving you with a brain flash question of the day, and here it goes.
What was the original name of the Googs, the Google?
Google.
That's a good one, Mitch.
All right, well, we'll have the answer for that. And, of course, more of today's talk, tomorrow's trends, right here on Daily Flash. Hey, welcome back to the big show. All right, before we went to break, we asked you our brain flash question of the day. What was the original name of Google? Hopefully you didn't Google the answer. That would be kind of meta, wouldn't it? And a lot of people are freaked out when they find out it used to be called Backrub. And basically, when they were at Stanford University, it related to all the backlinks that it took to get to your information on Google. There you go. It was changed in I think in the late 90s. 97 is when they changed it to Google. Well, welcome back to the big show. Mitch English here. In an effort for us to live a peaceful life, most people are doing, if you think about it, everything right. We're working on our attitude, our daily habits. We're doing the inner work. But peace keeps just slipping away. So what are we doing wrong? Well, our next guest, Beatty Carmichael, has a new book out. Here it is. It's called Outrageous Peace. He joins us now with some insight so that we can find some of that peace. Beatty, welcome to Daily Flash. Thank you for joining us.
Well, thank you, Mitch. I'm excited about being here.
Well, I'm glad you are, because this is something that a lot of people, you're like, man, I just don't understand it. Why can't I get out of this funk? Why can't I get this peace? Why do people still, after they do all of the things that they might have done in a book or everything other friends tell us, they're still looking for that peace by following that self-help advice? Why is that?
Well, I think what I find a lot of times is people don't really understand what causes peace and therefore why it disappears and slips away. And once you start to recognize the framework in which peace operates, then it solves all the problems. We're trying to solve it. So peace is internal, and yet we're trying to solve it by external discipline.
Oh, yeah.
And you can't do external discipline to fix an internal problem.
All right. I should have asked first. What is peace? Give me your definition of what peace is, because if we don't know what we're looking for, we'll never find it, right?
Yeah, that's a great question. Peace is a lack of stress on the inside, okay? So you can have calm in your environment, but this underlying part of you that's inside, that's just, when you're at peace, you're rock solid. Nothing that comes against you is going to challenge you or push you around. And it's always just calm and peaceful. When your mind is running, you're always irritable. There's always some sort of tension, heaviness that you feel like you're carrying around, darkness.
Yeah.
That's a lack of peace. Is that making sense?
It actually does. No, because people need to identify what that is. That's a beautiful explanation. But in your book, you talk a little bit about the hidden source of internal pressure. Explain that in more detail.
Yeah, so the easiest way to understand this is if you think about our life as a three-legged stool. You have a mental, physical, and spiritual leg. Now, the spiritual is not a religious, it's just neither mental or physical. When all three legs are strong, internally, you're strong. But what happens with peace is when we get our inner self out of alignment. This is that spiritual part. If you think about like your conscience, it lets you know when you do right, lets you know when you do something wrong. When we get out of alignment there and we don't release that, it puts stress on the other two legs and things start to crumple in our life. Right? We start to feel it.
And you are talking about alignment. Let's go in more detail. Explain why alignment is such a key.
Yeah, it's the real key, because alignment is it's when we're holding on to something that we don't need to hold on to. Let me give you a real life example. A couple of months ago, an acquaintance came up to me and we were talking. He was saying, I'm just being eaten up with anxiety. I went to the doctor about 6 or 8 months ago. He said, you're going to have this the rest of your life. Let's put you on meds. And I said, well, anxiety is easy to get rid of. It's not permanent. I said, there's always a source. Usually, like anxiety, has a source of fear that we haven't released. So I was just asking him, so when did it begin? He said, about 1.5 years ago. I said, did anything happen about a year and a half ago that really terrified you? He said, yeah. My wife had a breast exam. They found lumps. And I became terrified. So I said, well, that's the issue. You're holding on to the fear and you haven't released it. So I simply gave him a simple process to release the fear that he should never have held on to. And by the end of the day, his anxiety was totally gone.
And so with that example there about restoring alignment is basically, it sounds like identifying it, finding out why you're not feeling this and kind of going back. And do you change anything by doing those sort of things?
Yeah, so real simple process. This is what I use, and this is what my book starts to describe. There's a process in how we deal with our inner self. But the simple thing is you name it, locate it, release it. All he did is he named it. I've got anxiety. I helped him locate it. And then once you locate it and go, oh, I just need to release it. You release it, and releasing it in very simple terms is just saying, I'm no longer going to hold on to this fear. I'm just going to let it go. Take a deep breath, breathe out.
I like that.
And you release.
I use the same principles for trying to find the perfect fishing hole. You know, name it, locate it, and then once I get the fish, release them. This is the first time I get to say this, but Beatty, peace. Thanks for joining us. And if you at home want to find out more information, this is great stuff.
Oh, great.
Beatty's book, it's called Outrageous Peace. You can go to outrageouspeace.com for more information. We'll have this on our website as well.
All right, Mitch, thank you. Well, the grandson of the creator of Reese's Peanut Butter Cups is going public with his criticism of the Hershey Company. 70-year-old Brad Reese claims Hershey has swapped out milk chocolate for a cheap compound made from vegetable oils. Oh. He also says Hershey has replaced real peanut butter with peanut butter flavored fillings and creams. The Hershey Company says its original peanut butter cups are still made with real peanut butter and milk chocolate. However, the candy maker admits to making a few recipe adjustments for certain products with new shapes and sizes.
I would imagine he probably lives off some stock. I don't know how many as far as decisions go or anything. I don't think he had anything to do with it. But his claims, I could understand where he would even think so, because it's a lot cheaper to go with the oils and that sort of thing and stay away from the original. And they've said even still, the foods that we ate as a kid are completely different, right? Tasting altogether. And it's not because we've gotten older, obviously, right?
True. But I do think that there is this new focus on ingredients and real ingredients. And I think everybody's kind of like waking up to the fact that we really need to think about what we're eating and how foods are processed. And if candy can go back to using real milk chocolate and real peanut butter, it'd be terrific.
When I go to Italy, I'll bring you back some, all right?
Please
I'm
do.
excited for that.
Yes.
We have more Flash coming up around the corner. Don't go anywhere. We love having you along. Everybody, welcome back to Daily Flash. Mitch English along with Andrea Jackson. There's a new digital scam out there that's going to have users thinking twice about CAPTCHA or CAPTCHA-like verifications. You know what I'm talking about. It's that stupid quiz you got to take before they let you see it. Next time it pops up on your screen, a Canadian Reddit user posted about a potential hack and shared a picture on her screen when it happened. The sequence asked her to hold the Windows key and the letter R to load a verification key. Then it said to press Control plus V before clicking enter to complete the verification test. Now, this isn't the only cyber scam infecting people's devices. Tech experts are warning users about a new calendar scam where cyber crooks blast iPhones and iPads with bogus scheduling alerts in order to hack into their personal info. I think I got one. But here's the thing. You're trying to schedule something with me. I don't know who you are. I ain't putting that in my calendar.
Yeah.
I do appreciate it. Like whenever we set up a Google Meet, it automatically goes in my phone. But somebody was trying to do something. I'm like, no, I don't want to do that. And they are getting smarter and smarter and smarter.
That's true.
If in doubt, don't. If in doubt, like, what is this about? I got an email just the other day from somebody that I don't really talk to, a business person, and I wrote him back and I go, hey, I don't understand what this is. He goes, I've been hacked. Do not open it whatsoever. And he had sent it to Sharon, our boss, as well. And just to let you know, they are still out there. So best thing, if you don't know the person, or if you don't understand it, don't open it up and try to read it to find out what it is, because that might be too late.
So I got an email early this morning, and I was looking at my email, and it said, oh shoot, where did it go? It said something about hunger rush or something. He's like, you cannot ignore my emails. And this came through at like 1:05 in the morning. I'm like, what is this? And, I didn't open it, but I was just like, delete immediately. But then I've also noticed too, like sometimes have you ever got one of those texts that comes out of the blue and it just says, hey, how are you?
Yes.
I'm like, really? That's what you're trying to use now? Hey, how are you?
And just sends email. If you text me, I don't know who you are. I'm not texting you
Exactly.
back.
Yeah.
I should also make mention if you get a phone call from a number you don't know, don't answer it because it's a couple of things. They're seeing if that number is active, and now you're going to be on a list. Second thing is if you're sitting there talking, they could record your voice with AI.
That's what makes me so nervous. And also, like, well, can't they do that anyway if they get your message? If you get their
That's
voicemail?
why I don't have one. Yeah, that's a good. That's actually a good point. I didn't even think about that. Like,
Thanks for
I
calling.
call it
I'm
Siri.
sorry I'm not here right now.
I don't do that.
You don't do that.
They'll go, you called,
Yeah.
or leave your message right after I don't know what it says. I never call myself.
I know. I haven't called myself in years.
So
couldn't tell you what it says, but I know at one point I had a message on there.
if we haven't talked before and you send me a text,
Yeah.
I'm not writing you back. And if you call me and I don't answer, if it's that important, you'll text me, and then I won't answer that anyway because I don't know who.
And do you use the block and the spam function on your text and your phone calls?
I try to, but it doesn't seem like that. I feel like it's just it's supposed to be there to make me feel better, like to put somebody. Same goes with the email.
Yeah.
It's not going to stop it.
Right.
Yeah. It's very frustrating altogether, and it's dangerous now that we hear stuff like
Yeah,
this.
for sure. Well, outrage is brewing across Los Angeles as residents are told it will take 270 days, 270, for a street light, for one single street light to be repaired. LA is currently buried under a mountain of 33,000 pending repairs. This is Los Angeles.
You pay a lot of taxes in California, so they'll get to it.
It's crazy. The scale, yeah, right. The scale of the crisis was highlighted by a local reporter on X who shared an automated response from the city's 311 system. Some neighborhoods have been left in total darkness for nearly a year. The post on X has gone viral. City officials say theft and vandalism are driving a massive repair backlog. The theft epidemic is so severe that copper wire theft now accounts for nearly 40% of all outages. Thieves are stripping miles of cable faster than crews can replace it. The 311 message, we've got it. Let's see if we can pop it up on the screen. Thank you for reaching out. We see the case you submitted on 117. Due to an increase in wire theft and vandalism of the street lighting network, there is currently a backlog of repair tickets. The current response time for street light repair is up to 270 days.
I want to back up. All right, and correct this.
Yeah.
So in California, you go on X to talk to the
No,
Los Angeles?
The reporter posted the screenshot
see
of the
now.
response he got when he submitted the request to fix a street light in his neighborhood and was told it could take up to a year.
I say that because airlines do that. Airlines are wanting you to go on Twitter. It's like they'll say, if our lines are busy, it might be faster to send us a message on Twitter.
Oh.
Because and if you think about it, I'm like, I'm leaving a message on Twitter if this flight's canceled and you left me in Charlotte, North Carolina.
Yeah, exactly. You better believe it.
I'm hashtagging you, and I am direct messaging you as well. Here's the. It's always going to be that way, and we learned last week. If you have to call them up, that's why you need a bilingual friend. Press 2 for Spanish. You'll probably get there faster.
That is so true.
Than pressing 1.
But this is embarrassing
That's
for
very
Los
embarrassing.
Angeles. And the taxes the people pay there, outrageous.
You can see why people are moving in droves.
Yeah.
Stick around. We have more coming up.
This is Daily Flash with Andrea Jackson and Mitch English. Broadcasting worldwide and streaming. Daily Flash. Today's talk, tomorrow's trends.
Hi, everyone. I'm Mitch English.
I'm Andrea Jackson. This is Daily Flash. Today's trends, tomorrow's talk. Before we do anything, we'd like to talk about our stations across the nation. Give them a little love.
Indeed, because we have 219 of them. Great television stations all over the country and beyond. We're also on the American Forces Network. And today we head up to Beantown, Boston. and say hello to our friends at WFXZ TV right there in Boston. The big dig is going on there. I'm
It
sure
has
it's
been
never
going
went
on for years.
forever. But did you know that's actually the first subway in America?
Really?
So maybe they started digging back then.
Okay.
It was actually had built the very first subway system all the way back in 1897. It's Tremont Street subway. It's still being used today and making Boston's T the oldest public transit system in the United States. So we get a lot of that there. And if you also think about Roy Rogers said, land, you better buy some because we're not making it anymore. Boston goes, oh yeah? And now that's what they're doing.
Yeah.
They built it basically on there. The duck tours.
The duck boat tours, yeah, that's
Those are
right.
always fun to do.
That is a fabulous city to go visit if you can. It's just a great history lesson in the making, and you can take some great walking tours in Boston.
The real estate there extremely high. I remember one time, this is back in the early mid 2000s. A parking space sold for $1 million. Remember that?
Yes.
It was there in Boston. A parking space.
Parking space.
That tells you a little bit about getting around a little bit as well. It's, I imagine, also, it's, by the way, the best Italian food I've ever had in my life was in Boston, up in the north end of Boston.
Oh my goodness.
I'm getting hungry now.
I know.
So when you walk around and you check out this the place, sometimes, how about walking the dog? There's a new service in China right now, and it's basically an app. It's called Wang Fu. Okay, now what Wang Fu does, I know it sounds funny, but it's China. You can rent out your pet.
Okay.
Okay, for about $1.50 to $9 or so, which is about 10 to 60 yen, is that you can actually go to the website. It's almost like a dating site. Like, oh, I like this. And you meet up, and you can walk the dog for like an hour, 2 hours, or take care of the dog as well. Some people have some ethical issues with it, like you're handing your dog over, and you're making money off of it as well. I know there's a lot of dog walking services, but here's a way that you can actually make money. Now you got two. I'm sure your dogs would walk whoever.
Yes, they would.
They don't walk them; they walk them.
Pretty much, yes.
Weimaraners,
yeah.
two of them.
One German Shorthair Pointer and one Weimaraner. Yeah, they're big, high energy dogs. Yeah.
And I know that you've always loved Weimaraners.
Yeah.
Had them for years. Would you ever rent them out to have somebody walk it? And why? Why wouldn't you?
Just because I know my dogs and I don't want anybody else walking them. I mean, we would take them to like a doggy daycare, so they're supervised and whatnot. But I don't know if I'd feel comfortable letting someone else walk my dog.
You know, and you don't know the complete personality, despite what you might read on there. And then what if it confronts another pet?
That's the other thing.
And you're going to be liable because like, I was just renting this dog. I was just walking it.
It's not like a car like Turo where you can rent your car to somebody else and you're insured. That's a whole different, kind of a different scenario. But when you're talking about a live animal, I don't know. I don't feel good about that.
Okay, and then you think about some call them their fur babies. All right, so if that's the case, and you rent them out, you're renting out your fur babies. So let me tell you what I think.
Exactly. Would you do that to your kid? Would
That's
you
what I
a
was
random
saying,
stranger?
yeah.
I'd just like to be a parent for a day. Well, here you go. Try it out.
Rent my kids out.
I don't know. I know kids and dogs and pets, they're not the same thing. I know. Don't email me. But at the same token, it's the same kind of thing for a pet parent.
Long time ago, I thought, what a great business, Mitch. This is what it is. I would rent out my boys because I had 3 rambunctious boys. Well, two and a half rambunctious boys. My third son is very calm. Anyway. And let's say you're about to have a baby, I take them over there, and they will find all the things throughout the house that, we need to hide that because they'll break or they'll put their finger in this plug. And I was like, man, wouldn't that be a great service? Just let them run around and do that and take notes.
See what you need to baby-proof in your house.
I never did that, but I imagine I could have been a millionaire doing it.
Good idea, Mitch. Yeah.
I got 1 million of them, and maybe you do as well. We want to hear from them. We'll cut you in on the deal if you give us an idea. We promise. 10%? We swear. 10, yeah, 10. Okay, I think 10%. That's safe enough. We'll have more Flash coming up after this.
You're watching Daily Flash. Time now for The Scene with Doreen.
Today on The Scene with Doreen, I sit down with very talented and highly versatile actor and comedian Steve Heitner. He's most well known for his very funny portrayal of Kenny Banya in Seinfeld, and he has a list of movie and TV credits that's at least a mile long. He's back on the road doing stand-up, and I can't wait to dig in. Check it out.
Oh no, it's Kenny Banya.
Who's he?
Oh, he's this awful comedian.
Hey, Jerry!
Hey, Kenny!
You have such an impressive resume, but people always instantly recognize you as Kenny Banya from Seinfeld. That has to be frustrating sometimes for you.
I'm going to tell you what, I don't find it that way. Look, it was a great thing in my career. It wasn't 100% perfect. I mean, there were times after that where I was auditioning for dramatic roles. I mean, very dramatic roles. And you can feel the energy in the room of like, he's killing this, but can we really cast Kenny Banya in this dramatic role? So, it's had its effects that way, but much more so in the positive. People come up and they share stories about, well, you really have no idea what you did for me and my dad. He wasn't well, and we would watch the show and we would watch you. And like, how can you feel anything but positive towards stories like that?
I can't believe you're giving him this.
I don't even want anything for it.
And you got Kenny Banya because you decided to audition for the role in a completely different way from everyone else.
Just on a dime, I just decided, what if he's annoying because he adores Jerry? Jerry and Larry, David, were in that room hearing 15 guys do anger. Right. And when I walked in and I did that puppy dog, hey, Jerry, they just fell off the couch, maybe just because of the contrast of what they had been hearing.
Kind of scary to think if it went that route, how that would have been completely different. I don't think it would have been as popular. I really don't.
I don't either. And the writers didn't see me do that until the table read, the first table read. And Seinfeld table reads were like rock concerts. Everybody wanted to be at a new Seinfeld script table read. And so the writers see me doing this huge upbeat kind of I adore Jerry thing. And they immediately take it and build on it and created more with it.
Soup's not a meal.
Lucky for me, Jerry loved the character of Banya. He just loved the character. And so he would jam me into episodes I wasn't in. So I would get a call at my house, I think 4 or 5 times. Hey, Jerry just stuck you into the episode. Go down tomorrow. They added you into a scene. The Soup Nazi episode was another example of, in the middle of the week, Jerry goes, oh, call Steve. We're going to have Banya cut in line. So many people ask me what my favorite catchphrase is. Is it soup's not a meal? Is it gold, Jerry Gold? Is it I'm huge, the best Jerry, the best? The character had so many catchphrases. But I had a line in the Soup Nazi episode that was so stupid that I always loved it.
Hey, Jerry, I didn't know you liked soup.
That was an example of me just him going, hey, call Steve. Let's stick him in the episode.
Relationships are tough. I'm not in a relationship anymore. I'm married.
And life imitates art because you are back on the road doing stand-up across the country.
I have people that have never seen me do stand-up before. They'll come and they go, we didn't know, we knew you from TV and as Banyan, you played a bad comedian. We didn't know if you were going to be a good comedian. And, I like to, first of all, when I do a show, I don't even bring up Seinfeld for the first half hour. I want to kick some butts with some straight stand-up. And, the best compliment I get, and I've gotten it many times, is, hey, if you never mentioned it at all, that was a great show.
Visit steveheitner.com, check out his upcoming stand-up tour schedule across the country, and just stay connected to everything that is the very talented Steve Heitner. I'm Doreen Taylor with The Scene with Doreen, here at the Daily Flash each week. See you next time.
According to a new survey from the National Retail Federation, 1/3 of back-to-school shoppers had already started buying by early June. Here with insight on this year's back-to-school shopping season is Mark Matthews.
Yeah, so what's really interesting is when we asked consumers if they started shopping in early July, 62% said that they already had. That's a lot more than we're used to seeing. We're in the 50s not too long ago. I really think this is a sign that, this is a savvy consumer who understands that this is a very competitive industry with transparent prices. And they're out there, they're concerned about affordability, they're concerned about stretching their dollar, and they're making sure that they get the most bang for the buck. So when we asked them if they'd participate in some of those early sales in June, 54% of them said that they had participated. So it's really about, making sure that, this is a big spending event, making sure that you're able to get the best prices and get all the stuff that you need for your family to get them back to school. So interestingly enough, 10 years ago when we looked at it, there were a couple of channels that predominated. But nowadays, we're seeing them shopping all over the place, online, department stores, discount stores. Again, it gets back to this notion that they're a savvy consumer and they're looking for the best price. They're actively seeking it out and they're less concerned about the destination and more concerned about, are they getting value for money and are they getting all those things that they need. If you come to nrf.com, we have a whole section on back to school shopping with lots of data and insights. So please come check it out.
Up next, Life Minute's editor-in-chief, lifestyle editor Joanne Butler, with a must-have accessory of the season. So Joanne, what have you got for us today?
Well, you know what? I'm always looking for things that make life easy, and boy, do I have a good one for you. This is something that'll make your life easy while you're on the move. It's Kleenex Snap and Go, just a must-have for your busy summer plans. This is a new, durable, on-the-go pack to keep your tissues clean and protected and ready for wherever life takes you this summer and beyond. I love them. Each pack includes 25 silky soft Kleenex Ultra Soft tissues with this secure lid that opens easily and snaps shut. So you can just take your favorite skin-loving tissues anywhere. I mean, look at these. They're so cute. And they just add a great pop of color, too. I'm obsessed. I can't tell you how many times I've had tissues, at the bottom of my bag, collecting dirt and crumbs and whatever else is down there, but not anymore. I have these everywhere now, so I'm always prepared when I need it.
Where do we get it?
You can get them pretty much most major retailers like Amazon, Target, and Walmart.
What else are you loving this summer?
Well, you know what? This summer, it's all about just having fun with color, whether it's your bag or your blanket, your water bottle even. And now these, so cute. Just bold color statements or just make life fun,
Anything else for us today?
Just check out lifeminute.tv for more beauty and lifestyle tips.
Thanks for this information, and we'll be sure to post it on our website at dailyflashshow.com/FMI.
Highway safety is a concern for everyone. Here's what you need to know.
Highway safety professionals are raising concerns about a proposal that could allow heavier semi-trucks on interstate highways. A federal transportation study found certain heavier truck configurations had a 47% higher crash rate than trucks operating under current federal weight limits. Retired police chief and highway safety expert Stephen Cass-Stevens says motorists should pay attention.
When you add thousands of pounds to these already massive vehicles, crashes become more severe. And that concerns everyone who travels our roads, from everyday motorists to first responders to truck drivers.
Cass-Stevens says the debate isn't just about highway safety. It could also have major implications for infrastructure and taxpayers.
More than 68,000 local bridges could be damaged by heavier trucks. Law enforcement, local governments, truck drivers, and the public have concerns about the potential costs and risks.
Learn more at cabt.org and contact your members of Congress to oppose heavier truck legislation.
The year marks the 34th anniversary of the world's largest K-12 student science competition. Joining us from the National Press Club is Justin, Mr. Fascinate Schaefer, famously known for promoting science education as the producer of the hit podcast Curiosity Theory. Here's more.
The Toshiba NSTA Explore Vision Challenge is the world's largest K-12 science competition, and it is truly unlike any other. It helps young students expand their imaginations while exploring their interests in science, technology, engineering, and math. Students like these come together in groups to think about what challenges might exist 10 or more years into the future and work together to build technology solutions that will solve them. They get to learn about STEM and have a ton of fun doing it.
Approximately 800,000 people in the United States suffer from a heart attack each year, and it's one of the leading causes of death in the United States. What's even more surprising is that 30% of these are actually second occurrence heart attacks. After a heart attack, your heart cells get converted into scar tissue, which is much stiffer, and it can actually lead to irregular heartbeats and sometimes even heart failure. Our project Syncardia aims to solve this issue. Syncardia is a lipid nanoparticle-based system which actually converts the scar tissue back into the healthy heart cells. Heart attacks are super common, and each one of us have actually had experiences where someone close to us or a family member had to suffer from a heart attack. And even when people survive after a heart attack, they still have to live with the long-term complications for the rest of their life. And so we wanted to help better their quality of life, and so that's why we created Syncardia.
It's so important for young students like these to feel empowered in participating and building the future. I'm a huge advocate for STEM, and seeing students like these start off at such a young age building incredibly thorough and rigorous research projects has them feeling confident to go forth into careers as researchers, innovators, pioneers, and folks that will shape the future. And that's what we all need. For more information about the winning student projects or to sign up for Explore Vision, you can check out explorevision.org or follow Toshiba Explore Vision America on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook.
Millions of Medicare beneficiaries can now access GLP-1 weight loss medication for just $50 a month. Joining us now to help explain what it means for consumers is a pharmacy manager with Walmart, Deanna Worth.
The new GLP-1 Bridge program is for our Medicare beneficiaries, and it's offering new options for GLP-1s at a lower copay of $50 for eligible patients. What we would like for our customers to know as pharmacists is we know healthcare is complicated, but getting answers to your questions should not be, and we're here to help you understand your options and feel confident throughout this process. What's really nice is customers are telling us that, they don't want to just lose weight. They want to improve their overall health, feel better, and have more energy. This is where pharmacists can really make a difference. We are highly accessible and convenient to these patients. They can just walk in and ask us their questions. So stop in and talk to your local Walmart pharmacist, or you can visit us at walmart.com/GLP1.
From the biggest pop culture moments to the stories you'll be sending to the group chat, El Flash Latino brings the energy, the attitude, and the saber every single time.
Saludos a todos, yo soy Gisela Bouvier. Y yo soy Fabián Marcano y le damos la bienvenida a El Flash Latino.
With Fabian and Gisela serving up laughs, hot takes, and pure personality, you never know what they'll say next in whichever language comes out first.
Pero we're in Spanish. Yo soy Isis. There, from
Jump into the show that celebrates culture, comedy, and all things Spanglish. El Flash Latino.
Welcome back to Daily Flash. We always want to leave you on a high note, so that's why we want to tell you something good.
In a world where we hear a lot about what's going wrong, we got a story here about a man who just simply showed up and he sang. Check this out.
Through this journey of discovery, finding you and finding me. This for you, Grandma. Traded in the lazy days I used to lay down by the river.
This Levante Harvey is a mail carrier in Austin, in an Austin neighborhood, and he went viral after a doorbell camera caught him singing while dropping off a package. But here's the part that makes this so special. He wasn't performing for the camera. He was trying to lift the spirits of a grandmother on his route who had just lost her husband.
Now, he said he often sings to people all along his route, but just to bring a little light into their day, make things better. And that day, a family member posted the video online, and just like that, the internet did what it could do, and it did its best. The video blew up, people were moved, and actually, supporters started a GoFundMe account.
You see, Levante was driving more than 2 hours each way to work every day. That's 4 hours on the road just to deliver mail. And Smiles, a goal of $10,000 to help Levante was set up, and so far, nearly $13,000 has been raised, and that is something good. And it looks like he got a new car, because there was a picture of that with a BMW and a yellow bow on it.
So yeah, he got the car because $13,000 was raised as well. And I would hope, because he sings really well.
Fantastic.
I would hope that somebody reached out and said, look, how would you like to make even more money than that, And obviously, when I see that, it's like, it makes me feel like, there are people that love their job. I love my job. I hope that you love your job. He loves his job so much that he could say, look, I'm walking all day. Why not make it a little bit better?
Yeah,
So
and
good
I'm
for him.
sharing in my success, and I don't, and this is what makes things in life happy for me and makes the world go round.
We love it.
Yes.
That does it for our show. Thank you for spending time with us.
Be good. For more information, head to our website, dailyflashshow.com.